Hey guys, this is Kevin Murphy. Welcome to my channel called Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. So earlier today I made a video on narcissistic denial. He didn't mean it. So I decided to keep the same title, but elaborate more on the last video, the video before the last video on the covert narcissistic couple that I was friends with. But before I start talking about that, I just wrote a book called The Indelible Mark of Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. It is available on the Kindle store for $3.99. I wrote this book back when I was still living on the West Coast in Seattle, Washington. So it's now published. I haven't had anything to do with the book for a while, and because of the move from Seattle to Philadelphia, I've been busy trying to get acclimated back into the swing of things in the Philadelphia area. So now the book is available. So I would appreciate any support in regard to the book. It's $3.99. It's on the Kindle store. I'll have more information on the book in the description box. So it's called The Indelible Mark of Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. A lot of the things that I talk about in the book is things that I discuss on my channel. So, and I also use some of my life experiences with childhood bullying, with just issues that I've had in association to other narcissists in my life, as well as, interviewing other people who have had narcissistic spouses, narcissistic significant others, narcissistic parents themselves. I also talk about cognitive distortions in the book, so please check it out. And also in the Kindle store, there's a preface that talks about some of the things that I discuss, some of the topics that I discuss in my book. So yeah, I would appreciate anybody who can buy the book. So without further ado, the title is still the same, Narcissistic Denial. She didn't mean it. So actually I'm changing the pronoun from he to she because the narcissist in this story is actually a female instead of a male. So I know in past videos that I have made that I've always referred to the narcissist as a male, but in this case, the narcissist is actually female. So I'm going to start off with how I met these people, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to call the male friend. What should I name the male friend? I will call the male friend John and the female friend Sheridan. So I met John and Sheridan at a campus ministry when I was in grad school. Actually, I met them at a Bible study. So it was a campus ministry and / a Bible study. So we were in the same Bible study together. We were in the same grad school program together. And we also went to church together. So John and I became close friends pretty quickly. John was a techie guy. He was into a lot of nerdy things, where I was a lot different than John, but me and John really hit it off. So we went camping together, we've gone hiking together, we've done, visit each other's houses. We were into the same kind of video games, things like that. So for the first year and a half, John and I were really good friends. We were, we would hang out quite a bit. I shared with John some of the issues that I had with my family, especially my dad. And John showed a lot of care and empathy for that. And when I met John and Sheridan, they weren't yet married. They were actually courting each other, and they were actually, I think John was engaged to Sheridan. But Sheridan seemed to be awesome. She was very friendly. She was funny. Sheridan did a great job of mirroring me. So there were things that I would tell Sheridan that I liked, she liked. So I told her that I liked poetry. She liked poetry. I told her that I liked Chinese food. Her favorite food was Chinese food. I also told her that I liked sunsets at the beach. She liked sunsets at the beach. So everything that I liked or everything that I was about, she was about. Now, again, she was with John, and Sheridan was engaged to get married to John. So my friendship with John and Sheridan didn't start taking off until well after they got married. So they got married in September 2017. I attended the wedding, and it was phenomenal. And I started doing favors for John and Sheridan. So they have a cat, and I started watching their cat, and they were they would go on vacations, and sometimes I would have the cat come to my house. Sometimes I would I would watch the cat at their house and things like that. And I really like cats, and I really, like, forming bonds with cats, because I had a cat when I was growing up. And, I started watching the cat more often, and by me watching the cat, we formed a relationship from me watching that cat, because the cat was really Sheridan's cat in the beginning. And then as they got married, well, of course, it became John's cat and Sheridan's cat. So me, John, and Sheridan would take trips together. We would, we ran marathons together. We go out to dinner together a lot. We've gone to wine tasting of events together. We all have mutual friends, so we've gone to weddings together. We've gone to different restaurants together and things like that. So the first wine tasting event that we went to, it was just the three of us. So Sheridan, John, and I would, go to different places to go and do the wine tasting. And so as Sheridan started drinking a lot, and she started kind of like stroking my shoulder, my arm a lot. And John would be standing there watching Sheridan do this. And so he never said anything, because John was more the passive type and she was more the domineering type. So she made it clear that she was in charge of the marriage. She was in charge of how, the dynamics of the marriage, and so on and so forth. So John was the cook. John was responsible for taking care of the cat, and John was the main breadwinner of the house. Whereas Sheridan has more of a blue collar job, and she doesn't cook. She doesn't really do much with the cat, but John does everything. So John would be more considered the codependent, whereas Sheridan was more of the narcissist, the covert narcissist. So to the outside world, Sheridan was this pillar of the community. She was, she gave gifts to people. One of her main love languages was giving gifts and quality time. And those were some of her most redeeming qualities that she had. So as our relationship continued to grow, as my relationship continued to grow deeper with this couple, there was a dependency on my part with this couple. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, that Sheridan would mirror me, I became very dependent on her validating me. So Sheridan decided that she wanted to create a text thread between the three of us. So me, Sheridan, and John were on that text thread. And Sheridan would say things on that text thread that were kind of inappropriate. But the closer I became to this couple was probably during the most darkest periods of my life. I was going no contact with my immediate family. I was sharing that information with both John and Sheridan would say things like, "Oh, we'll be here for you. We're your family now. We'll take you in under our wing, and you're an amazing person," and and things like that. So I let my guard down. I was constantly going over there. I remember last year I had a really, really bad day at work. I work with children with autism, and I sent a text on that thread, and I told her, I told them both that, I was having a bad day and I would come over with pizza and wine and we could chat and whatever. So I went over there and wasn't expecting any gifts or anything like that. And Sheridan buys me a bouquet of red roses. So I asked Sheridan, like, why did you buy me a bouquet of red roses? And I thought that was a wonderful gesture that she did that, but I thought it was inappropriate. Now, in the meantime, she's giving me red roses, but I'm also seeing her demean her husband in public. So we went to a wedding. So backtrack about 3-4 months before that, we went to a friend's wedding out in the country, and Sheridan wanted me to sit at the table with she and her husband. So I said, sure, I'll sit at y'all's table. So I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm not married, never been married or anything like that. So she rubbed my forearm again and asking me to sit at their table. So I said, all right, I'll sit at their table because all of our other friends were sitting there. So she tells John, I don't want to sit next to you. I want to sit next to Kevin. And so I'm telling Sheridan, no, this is a wedding. You need to sit with your husband. Like this is not appropriate. And so she says, no, like she's hell-bent and adamant. I am not sitting next to John. I am sitting next to you, Kevin. And so the time came where we had to all sit down. John sat by himself at that wedding, and she sat next to me at the wedding. And so I spoke to John about the whole dynamics of that. And I said, you know what, John, I'm sorry. I told Sheridan that I wanted her to sit next to you at the wedding, and I'm sorry that you had to sit by yourself and things of that nature. And so she pulled this same shit at another restaurant that we went to. So this time there was a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of mutual friends that were at this restaurant. So Sheridan, her girlfriends, and myself were sitting at a table at the restaurant. John didn't come in until later. And so John pulls up a chair to sit next to his wife. And she goes and she asks him, what the hell are you doing? And he says, I'm sitting next to you. Oh, no, you're not. You're going to sit over there. I want you to sit over there. And I don't want Kevin to sit by himself. I want you to sit over there by yourself. Now, y'all, this is her husband. This is her husband. This is the shit that these people do. So I got up and I sat with John and kept John company while, we waited for the other people to trickle in and things like that. Because I think it was about 10 of us that went to this restaurant that particular night. So as people were trickling in, I was holding a conversation with John. So Sheridan goes and starts getting food, just taking food out of John's plate. So I'm seeing that John is not liking this. And instead of John saying something and addressing the situation or pulling her to the side, he just takes it. So Sheridan is at another table and telling John who to talk to and who not to talk to. So she tells John, you need to stop talking to Kevin. You need to talk to so and so and so and that person and that person. So John stops talking to me and starts talking to the other people at the table that we're sitting at. His wife, Sheridan, starts talking to me and starts having conversation with me. After we leave the restaurant that night, she sends me a text with hearts and all this other lovey-dovey shit on a text message saying, "Oh, I wish I could have spoke to you. Oh, you're so amazing. You're so this, so that." So honestly, y'all, I did not see it as a problem at that time, because what covert narcissists will do is they will get you at your least most vulnerable moment. And what was happening at that time, like I said, I was no contact with my family. I was in the beginning stages of going to, of really rebuilding my life and starting my journey and things like that. And again, this woman mirrored me. She told me that I was amazing. She told me, these people will make you feel like they will sweep you off of your feet. They will make you feel like you have found your soulmate. And I would bring this to my friend's attention, to John's attention, and he would tell me that I was imagining things, that it wasn't real, and that, and so I remember addressing the problem of her having him sit by himself at the wedding and at that restaurant. And I told John, I said, "John, I'm really concerned for you. You're my friend. You're one of my closest friends. I really like Sheridan, and I like you. But I feel that the way she is treating you is inappropriate. And as a friend, I want to look at, and I feel that my relationship with her needs some boundaries, because I'm not sure how she's feeling. I'm not sure how you're feeling about the relationship, but I'm feeling some type of way, and I feel like something has to happen." So he chalks it up to, "Oh, she's just playing. Oh, she doesn't mean it," and things like that. Now, I told John, I said, "Well, how the fuck is she playing by embarrassing you and humiliating you in front of our friends, telling you to go sit by your damn self? And she's sitting with me and a bunch of other women. Then at a wedding, she tells you that she flat out tells you she does not want to sit next to you. She rather sits next to someone else." Now, as time goes on, I notice that my friend John is not being treated well. So a couple months later, so our me and John's birthday is within the same week. So my birthday is the beginning of December, and John's birthday is 4 or 5 days after my birthday. So I took a trip to Disney World for my birthday, and which was, so the trip to Disney World was a few days after my birthday. So John's birthday was this around the time that I was at Disney World. So I was in Disney World on John's birthday. So I decided to throw John a surprise birthday party, because I started noticing a lot of the things that were happening with him in his marriage to Sheridan. And I felt at this point that he was being minimized. And so I called up all of his friends. I got all of our mutual friends together, his friends from home, to have the party here. I also asked Sheridan if I could throw the surprise birthday party for John. So all of these people during the preparation of the party was involved in the trying to get the party together. And then, but except for Sheridan, she wanted no parts of preparing the party. So as time went on, she started picking fights with John. So the weekend of the party, she picked a fight with John. So we were going to another wine tasting. The plan was for them to for the three of us to meet at my house and ride an Uber together to the place. Before we went to the venue, she picked a fight with John and told John that she didn't want to go to the wine tasting, and she told John that she picked a fight at, telling John. I think John and I were helping another friend move into their apartment, and the narcissist called John and said, where are you? We're going to go to the venue, this, that, and the other. And so John said that I'm helping, another friend move. As soon as I get done helping the friend move, I can shower and get ready. The narcissist is on the phone bitching him out, telling him that, I'm rushing out of work and you need to be ready. You need to do this and you need to do that. And so basically, John had to stop everything he was doing to helping our friend move. I had to stop helping our friend move to go home to try to hurry up and get changed because the narcissist was ready to go. So the narcissist and John and her husband go, come to my house. And the three of us, we're not in an Uber anymore. Now we're just driving ourselves to the place. The narcissist gets out of the car. When they came to pick me up, the narcissist gets out of the car. She was originally in the front seat with her husband, gets out of the car, sits in the back seat, and stonewalls him the entire time from my house to where the wine tasting venue was. And that was a 35-minute drive. And so I pulled John to the side and say, should I have stayed home? Even at this point, her welcome to me was pretty icy. And, and John made excuses for her again and said that, oh, she's fine. She just had a bad day at work and this, that, and the other. So the narcissist went to the bathroom. She comes out of the bathroom, a whole entire different person. Because I said, I'm not going to allow her to stonewall me and put a damper on my time with them. So I started telling jokes and I started trying to lighten the mood and things like that. And so the narcissist had a few drinks in her. And then she started, doing things like, as we were going home, she asked me, do you want to spend the night? And I'm like, no. Why would I spend the night if I didn't drive and you're driving me, you're driving me home? Oh, it would be so great, Kevin, if you spent the night. We would have so much fun and we would do so. Why the fuck do I need to spend the night at your house? And this is shit she's saying right in front of her husband. So she has no respect for her husband. So the day of the party was actually on my birthday. So the day after the wine tasting event was my birthday, and we did the birthday party on the night of my birthday because that was the only free time that we were able to have the party. So John told me at the party that the narcissist picked a fight with him the night of the wine tasting after they dropped me off. And she just began nitpicking shit like, oh, you didn't, they were supposed to go to visit his brother. So she bitched at him about not getting the tickets quick enough or not communicating with the brother or things like that. Now, she wasn't even going on the trip to go see the brother. But because she has to be in control and because she has to be queen bee and pick a fight because she's jealous of the fact that somebody is throwing her husband a party and it's not about her, she had to create chaos. She kept him up all night. He came to the party really tired, really aggravated. And this is the shit that they do. When the attention is off of them and it's not all about them, then they wreak havoc and they create drama. So after the party, I noticed that she started distancing herself. They both were. And so I asked John, I said, John, what's going on? Why is she distancing herself? Why are you guys distancing yourselves from me? And I remember, giving him advice and giving him encouragement and trying to lift his spirits and things like that. And so he would tell me, "Oh, I'm not distancing myself. Like, we're just, we're just busy and things like that." Now I knew they were full of shit because they weren't busy. A lot of the times they would be home. A lot of the times they weren't doing anything, and what have you. So then I asked him again, "Why are you distancing yourself?" And so then that's when the truth came out, and he told me that she felt that things were getting too close and what have you, whatever. So another thing that the narcissist will do is they throw the rock and then they hide their hand. They will try to hook you in ways that are inappropriate, because and make you feel like. And again, I was wrong because I started having inappropriate interactions with my friend's wife. I started feeling some kind of way toward her as a result of the things that she was that as a result of the things that she was sharing with me. She was, like I said, she bought me flowers when I was having a bad day. She was sending me text messages on the text on the phone saying that you're by far our closest friend. She wanted the three of us to go on vacations together, things like that. It was a lot of inappropriate interactions. And I didn't have any problems with John until she became centerfold in our friendship. John and I got along great. We had a healthy friendship. He was amazing. We had no problems. As soon as she got involved in that friendship, that's when I started feeling a lot of anxiety. I started feeling a lot of confusion. I started feeling a lot of pain, a lot of everything. So by January, she's kind of distancing herself. So after she's done all of these things, trying to put me up on this pedestal, making me feel like I'm, one of her best friends and things like that, they bring you down. So this is the devaluation stage that I'm in current at that point. And so, me, John, and a bunch of other guys, we went on a guys' weekend trip up to New York back in January. A week after she told her husband that she didn't want to have that kind of friendship with me anymore. So she's not telling me this directly. She's using her husband to tell me this. So this is triangulation of communication. So instead of her telling me this herself with her husband there, she's telling her husband to tell me that I don't want anything to do with Kevin like that anymore. So I'm like, okay, solid. I won't bother her anymore. In fact, I'm kind of relieved at this point because this is an unhealthy relationship. This turned into being an unhealthy relationship. So when I agreed to leave her alone and give her space on that trip, John tells me, "Oh, Sheridan has a gift for you." So it was a Jenga set. So she bought a Jenga set for me because at that last wine tasting that we went to, I was playing Jenga with other people and things like that, and I told them that I like Jenga. So at this point, I'm confused because here it is. I'm agreeing to leave you alone. I'm agreeing not to have anything to do with you. I decided to set boundaries in the relationship and told John that I won't be watching the cat anymore. I won't be having the cat at my house, and that I just want to have a regular relationship with you. I'm going to give Sheridan her space and give her what she wants. As soon as I said that, John is like, "Oh, she's got a Jenga set for you." Now, here it is. I'm elated in a way because I'm still no contact with my family of origin. I'm still vulnerable and still feeling that that level of, love and support that she has given to me in the past. Because once you're love bombed, it's you don't turn it off, like, you don't get over it that fast. So when you're love bombed, you it's like, oh wow, so she's coming back to her senses, and we're going to be friends again and things like that. And so I would have John come over to my house every once in a while to play, the game and play video games and things like that. And I was thinking that things were going to go back to normal, because here it is, she gave me this gift. And at this point, my birthday had passed. It wasn't Christmas. She just gave me a gift for the hell of it. So I'm thinking that we're back to square one. Then John tells me that, oh, she doesn't want you watching the cat anymore. So it's so I'm like, well, why? Why am I not watching the cat? I didn't do anything wrong to the cat. I didn't do anything wrong, to her or anything like that. And then he tells me that, oh, she doesn't want to have that relationship with you. Well, why the fuck did you buy me a gift then? Why did why are you wishing me Merry Christmas on the text messages? Why are you still in that correspondence with me? And you're telling me one thing via text, and using gifts to keep me in this relationship. But then when I, it's a continuous mind fuck. Like, you tell me to leave you alone. You tell your husband to tell me to leave you alone. I leave you alone, and then you're texting me again. You're giving me gifts. You're doing all this other shit, and so I'm thinking that we're cool again and that we're having a relationship again. And then here it is, you're telling your husband again, I don't want nothing to do with him. Again, this is not coming from her directly. This is not coming from. She's not telling me not even via text, that I don't want to be bothered with you. But she's using gifts, and she's using text messages and emojis and shit to keep that imbalance going. And so it just threw me for a loop. It got me incredibly depressed. I stopped eating. I was neglecting a lot of important things in my life, because I just didn't. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. Then John started acting funny. He started like distancing himself too, and I noticed that my friendship with him wasn't the same. And I made a decision. I said, I started feeling really bad about myself. I said, here it is. I'm on a journey to heal. And here it is. I am dealing with two toxic people. I'm dealing with a codependent who needs to get his shit together. And then I'm dealing with a covert narcissist who is playing mind games with me. So I made the decision back in February. I said, look, I can't do this anymore. I didn't even announce it. I just stopped talking to them. I cut their asses off. And that was a huge decision for me, because I have a hard time cutting people off. I have a hard time going no contact with people, but I realized that relationship just was not good for me anymore. And I'm going to tell you something. Once I ended that relationship, I felt a sense of peace I've never felt before in my entire life. And it's been almost 2 months, about a month and a half now since I've talked to them. I've run into them here and there, among friendship circles and so on and so forth. But I feel so much better. I feel more at peace. Some days I beat myself up over the fact that I stayed in this relationship as long as I did. And I share this story not to exploit John and Sheridan, but I use this story to help my viewers realize that when they're in a relationship with someone who's blowing hot and cold, when they're in a relationship with someone who is telling you one thing, but they really mean another, that, look for those signs, guys. Like that is not appropriate behavior. I don't hate John and Sheridan. I don't hate Sheridan at all. I just know that that wasn't a good relationship for me to be a part of. And I wish them well. And it was to a point where when I was in the relationship with them, I felt like I couldn't even live without them. And that's what the narcissists want you to feel. They want you to feel like you cannot live without them. I felt like they were my drug, like the attention that I was getting from her, the accolades that I was getting from her. I felt like and they get you when you are at your most vulnerable moment, and I feel horrible, and I apologize to John and for allowing myself to be manipulated by his wife, to allow myself to condone the disrespect that that she was showing to her husband. And, if you find yourself in a situation where you know that there's a friend that is flirting with you and that person's a narcissist and they are treating their spouse like shit, like garbage, you have to walk away from that, because it's a game. It's a game. It's a way to get you hooked into their drama. And this girl was nothing but fucking drama. And I want nothing to do with her. I don't want to be bothered with that anymore. I don't hate, like I said, I don't hate her, but I noticed that this person is not not a good person. And so you have to guard your heart, especially when someone is in covenant with another person. You have to, and you know that they're not doing the right thing. It's up to us to do the right thing and not get so hung up on our trauma and not get so hung up on our bad experiences and things like that. So I just wanted to share that information with you. I hope you guys don't think that I'm a horrible person or anything like that. These things happen to the best of us. We get swept in by that narcissistic charm. We get, our codependency will motivate us to and that mirroring will motivate us to want to get hooked up with these toxic people. And you have to tell yourself that no, thank you. You need to go somewhere. So I hope this information helps. Please, please, guys, I thank you so much for your support. I please ask for more support as far as buying my book. I really feel that my book will help you guys really heal. I really feel that my book will help you guys really understand more of what the dynamics of narcissistic abuse is really about. It will help you dispel other drama and other situations like the one that I was in. The book is only $3.99. It's on the Kindle store. Again, I'll have more information on the description box. And it's called, I just got tongue-tied there. The book is called The Indelible Mark of Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. So thank you guys for your subscriptions. I haven't been on YouTube in a while. So and I noticed that I got all these new subscribers. So welcome. So to those who are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for your support. We're in this journey together, and we make mistakes, but we get right back on up. And we're not horrible people. We're just trying to figure all this out. So thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.